We're here for the public meeting for the handling of the National Ordinance, amending the National Ordinance Integrity Chamber in connection with raising the age limit for the members and the deputy members. We have done this before. We've had a Central Committee meeting handling, and the report was received, as well as a note that was submitted with the answers that were asked by the two factions. As such, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to request that in keeping with the other times that we've brought the changes for raising the age, seeing the difficulty in finding members, especially seeing how quickly they trade off. They only have the opportunity to serve 2 terms of 3 years, after which then they would leave. And in our case, St. Martin, our member having achieved that age and we not having someone readily available to replace him, we're asking the Parliament to approve that this one also be raised, as we did with the Council of Advice, Ombudsman, and the other high councils. So with that being said, and the responses that have been received, I look forward to any further deliberation necessary from this August body.
Kind of encompass whenever the Integrity Chamber is a topic, or the Integrity Chamber being a part of St. Martin, no longer being seen as or how do we get away from it being seen as some sort of Dutch entity forced upon St. Martin? Have we been able to transition away from that? We have a local director now. What is the local involvement and so on? And that is why I asked if the Integrity Chamber has published a local recruitment process for board members. And to clarify, because when I see the response, I'm actually wondering if members nominated by the Netherlands, if they also seek local participation, or if they also might seek and say, you know, among the 60,000 or whatever people in St. Martin, although we have to nominate someone, maybe there is someone that fits that profile right here from St. Martin or in St. Martin. So that is the line that I would like to go. And in discussion with MP Marlin, I'm sure he'll probably go into that in more detail, that was one of the concerns. The fact that, okay, we are increasing the age limit, that seems more so to accommodate our situation, but there's still this lingering issue of the Netherlands having a right by law to appoint members to the Integrity Chamber's board, as well as replacement members. And I'm wondering, within the legislation, how far are we able to move from that? Mr. Chairman, we did, with the faction leader of National Alliance, discuss the possibility of amending this particular legislation to actually have that written into the law, which would make it so that by means of changing article, let me pull it up. Yeah, by means of adjusting Article 8 and adding a 6th condition to what a member of the Integrity Chamber should have, is that let me translate quick, a member or replacement member of the Integrity Chamber must be a resident written into the basic administration of St. Martin. The idea behind that would have been to see how we can ensure that if the Integrity Chamber becomes an integral part, continues to be an integral part of St. Martin, can there be across the board, both by the Netherlands and St. Martin, an understanding that St. Martiners should be a part of this as well? You know, that people within our society that live here, that experience our culture, our norms and understandings, if they would be given some sort of preference to move closer and closer to having opportunities for locals to participate in these very important institutions, be it the Council of Advice, Integrity Chamber, etc. Maybe having that norm across the board should be important. I think that is a norm, if I'm not mistaken, across the other high councils, that they should be residents of St. Martin, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that should probably be the same for our own local Integrity Chamber.
But the manner in which the Integrity Chamber was forced upon St. Martin is exactly part of the discussions that we have had in the last tripartite held right here in St. Martin with Curaçao and Aruba, where now the new trend in the Netherlands is to use a consensus kingdom law to force certain things upon the countries Curacao, Aruba, and or St. Martin. When the hurricane struck in 2017, it was not something the people of St. Martin fell on their knees and begged for. It wasn't because of St. Martin burning too much oil by GBE is what brought the hurricane here. The hurricane came, and we had to live and suffer by the consequences. Mr. Chairman, lo and behold, the Dutch government took this as an opportunity to force their model of the integrity chamber on the people of St. Martin or on the government of St. Martin. Now, there are those who might want to say, yes, it's about time, and they need to do this and they need to do that. Mr. Chairman, we agree. There is a court system that deals with those that violate the laws. Whatever they do, eventually the court system has to catch up with them. And if we feel the need of an integrity chamber, or we agree with Holland, with the Netherlands, that there should be an integrity chamber, my stance has always been that it has to be ours. It has to be our integrity chamber, not theirs, not controlled by them, not higher supervision by them. And integrity, when you speak about integrity, it is something that is measured by the community, by the people, by their cultural acceptances of certain values. What is integrity, what is integer in one country may not be in another one. I am tired of using the example where a police officer working in Hoog Catharijne in Holland would light or give you a light to light up your marijuana. And you smoke and you walk along, and he has absolutely no problem with it. The police officer would do that. But then that same police officer, 2 weeks after, is sent to St. Martin, and the same young man who marijuana, he gave him a light to lit it up, he stops him and arrests him on the boardwalk because smoking your marijuana in public, having your ganja in public in St. Martin is not accepted. And so we can go along with certain things. Recently, someone sent me a video where there is a conference on polygamy. And if you see the amount of people who are inviting others to come to this conference, and we must learn to live in love and harmony and whatnot. Now, in this part of the country, of the world, one would say, what? That's a disgrace, that's an abomination. But in those countries, it is accepted and it is normal. And I'm not saying that we have to set as a standard here that thieving, stealing, fraud, or anything is accepted. But when we talk about an integrity chamber, and it has to be supervised by the Netherlands, and the people who are appointed by the Netherlands are living in the Netherlands and report to the Dutch government, it is nothing more than a colonial structure.
I look forward to hearing, before I even entertain a proposal for adjourning this agenda point so that a faction or factions can come with an amendment, I want to hear from the Prime Minister, this is a question to the Prime Minister, her thoughts on the idea of what an amendment will bring. So the proposal that has been put forward, and it is clear, we don't have to go back to find out what exactly was the Member of Parliament or the faction proposing. It's clear. So I would want to hear the Prime Minister's take on that proposal pertaining to this law, draft law. Thirdly, Mr. Chairman, I have looked at the responses given by the government to questions posed by members of parliament, including myself, and I realize there's a mix-up in terms of the answers because, for example, a question pertaining to the Council of Advice and how board members are appointed, that question did not come from me. But it is stated as such. I realize an answer has been given under the UD faction to a question posed by another faction, but that's not important. I just want to establish that for the record, because when I read some questions attributed to me, I'm like, no, I would not have asked that. So I went back to check, and no, I did not ask about the representation on the Council of Advice. No, no. What I did address and want to address once again is the issue of the SER. The SER. I asked the question, and an answer has been given to that one as well in the report that we received. However, the answer that has been given does not provide, in my opinion, all of the information, considering that the same question was posed to the Minister of VSA, and an answer was given regarding an ILO advice that the government received, and where the ILO asked the government to stay out of this matter of the board representation of the SER, mind you. So the SER board representation and who put in candidates forward, etc. So can we receive that advice from the ILO? In fact, from the words of the Minister of VSA, I learned that in addition to making that statement, because I asked what is the advice of the ILO to the government regarding the impasse that we are now at with the SER, and the Minister of VSA indicated a couple of things, as I mentioned, one of them being that the government should stay out of it, and secondly, the ILO offered mediation in this particular case. And I would like to see the ILO advice, because, I mean, really to get our SER board up and running, we can't get out of it ourselves. The ILO needs to offer us assistance in that respect. That was the answer given to my question by the Minister of VSA. So if the Prime Minister can clarify that, please, and provide the advice of the ILO.
At RBC, we know the roles you have to play can change quickly. Whether it's a homeowner, a new parent, today's head chef, or the family chauffeur. Whatever life asks you to be. RBC is a bank for all of you. Win Christmas cash with a no-fee loan from RBC.
Are you Asset V insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? Asset V is cardless. Request your My Asset V account today and enter the virtual office of Asset V. Go to assetv.sx and sign up now.
Asset V, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
Mr. Chairman, they say when elephant fights, the grass suffers. Clear example. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to say it off of the back because there's no secret. I don't support the Integrity Chamber in no fashion, no form, no way whatsoever. So this will not be getting my support, know how. And even if I want to find a way to sort of tamper my tone in terms of saying, according to MP William Allen, and let me say I can agree with his amendment or his proposal that the members should be from St. Martin or all of St. Martin, even that I find sort of a hard way to agree with. Why? For the simple fact of how the Integrity Chamber came to St. Martin. He made mention of it. For the simple fact of why we have an Integrity Chamber in St. Martin. The Integrity Chamber did not come into St. Martin because of integrity. It was forced. It was blackmail because of a disaster. You take this or else. Do this or you won't get that. That's how the Integrity Chamber got here. But let's go a bit further, Mr. Chairman, because one could say, okay, that the Integrity Chamber is here and they're doing their work, and let's put it in perspective to see if you can sort of go along with the Integrity Chamber. Mr. Chairman, let me pull it up, because it was this year in September, Mr. Chairman. 2 advices, 8 inquiries, 3 suspected misconduct notification from the Integrity Chamber in 2022. This came out on the 14th of September, 2023. A budget of 2 million guilders. All we have gotten from the Integrity Chamber thus far is 2 advices. 8 inquiries. 2 advices from the Integrity Chamber. Mr. Chairman, if you break it down, we are talking about 153,800 guilders per advice. That doesn't come from the Dutch budget, Mr. Chairman. Now, we are here talking about raising the age. Raising the age. Because they can't find individuals to what, 75? Or whatever they want to raise the age to. Mr. Chairman, that's old white Dutch people that we are giving a vacation to, a nice pension to live a lavish life in the Netherlands. If you want to raise it to that age, 75, to be on an Integrity Chamber. How many individuals is on that boat? 3? I think Mr. Boseman is 1 from St. Martin and 2 others from the Netherlands. And we are looking to raise the age just for them to say that, what? 2 advices? 2 million guilders? We have done the study, Mr. Chairman. We have done the study in this country for $750,000. So let me take it and say 2 million guilders is about what? $110 million? If you round it off to that amount? For $750,000, the government of St. Martin can place 2 air conditioners in every classroom in this country. Every classroom, all of them. That all the schools and teachers and everybody have been balling for. They could go and fix around your school too as well while they're at it. With all the mold and everything for that same money.
The Secretariat, represented here by Ms. Pompier, is our local director, yes? The investigators, the policy advisors, the communication officer, the administrative staff of the Integrity Chamber are all local. 3 members are appointed, 1 by St. Martin, 1 by the Netherlands, and jointly they appoint the chair. Currently, our member is the one that is in jeopardy based on the age limit, and he has only served 1 term. The intention was to have him serve a 2nd term, and that's why this proposal was brought forward. It's a half FTE. So the challenge is finding persons with the right fit as well as willing to, it's not a full-time job as well. So the Secretariat prepares the advices, does the investigations, etc., brings the advice forward, and it is then approved or disapproved by the members. So the members are not the ones doing investigations. They are the ones approving or disapproving of them, and then it can move forward in the process. At the end of the day, it was brought forward, this legislation, based on the fact that we had done the same. Similarly, St. Martin is a small society. It's not difficult for the Netherlands to find people who are under the age of 70. In our case, we had a viable person that turned 70 this year. We wanted to retain that person, and since we've done the same with the other councils, and that's why I didn't see the questions coming in from the members related to other boards as off the topic at the time, based on the fact that they were related to the boards. However, seeing the types of questions that came out, then I'm seeing that this is a platform being used for other reasons, and I have absolutely no problem dealing with challenges with any of those other topics, but just not in this forum and in this meeting. So I'd be willing and happy to address any of those other questions, just not in this meeting that is for the amendment of the Integrity Chambers members' age limit. So the point brought forward, the proposal to have the members be residents of St. Martin. I think if we had gone through all of the questions that were relevant to the case, I would have been able to go into the details. But I'll mention also, Mr. Chairman, for the record, that the chair, which was a female former judge from the Netherlands, has taken up a new position and has resigned. And the two members have put forth for someone that resides on St. Martin to take up the chair position. So at least now we would have 2 out of 3. Well, once we replace our member, that is, because we cannot await this legislation any longer. If it's to be amended further to determine that all members should reside on St. Martin, then we will continue to do what needs to be done to ensure St. Martin has representation in the members as well. And so I look forward to any proposals. And by this, to the public that's out there who feel they're qualified, do send in your application to the government of St. Martin, Prime Minister Sylveria Jacobs, your CV, and why you think you're qualified to be on this board, and we will take it into consideration. Because for us, this was a meeting that should have been held a while back to ensure that we wouldn't run into trouble in having our representation on the board. And so if it will be delayed further, then that is the way the government of St. Martin will propose to move forward.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social health insurances.
At RBC, we know the roles you have to play can change quickly. Whether it's a homeowner, a new parent, today's head chef, or the family chauffeur. Whatever life asks you to be. RBC is a bank for all of you. Win Christmas cash with a no-fee loan from RBC.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
UNOPS, being on the island now, having an office, they recently was successfully able to complete the bidding process to identify a company that will design the prison. They had a meeting with me 2 weeks ago. I do believe UNOPS will be putting out a publication about that to announce this company. I've even asked them to please give indication in their announcement how their process goes, because of course the procurement process for construction is still one on to come. So UNOPS is pretty much on their timeline. They always can show me we're here, this is how far, this is what is coming. We are going to be seeking a meeting with Parliament pretty soon for us to be able to give these sorts of updates, but we're on track. We are on track. And I've also asked that the prison look a little bit further within the facility as it is, if there's opportunity for us to improve some of the cells that are there, to expand their availability. Because all in all, the Miss Lally Center is currently not even being used for what it was intended for. So the arm of trying to have capacity has been stretched quite a bit, but the necessity of having proper manning for these facilities is just as important.